I'd like to introduce you to Ginger. She has joined me for this Confirm Your Type instructional video. Hello.
Hi.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Now again, these are instructional in nature. I am sharing with you how I assess people's type, and I came to this when I was doing Confirm Your Type sessions, which I do not do anymore because I realized I say the same thing to every person of that type, and it dawned on me, I need to teach you. So therefore, these were created, and I'm grateful I can continue to provide you with these amazing resources. So, Ginger, what type have you assessed yourself at this point?
I feel like I'm a 2.
Okay, so based on the information you've learned, you've read the book, you've watched the online course, what have you decided in yourself? What expressions in yourself have you assessed? You say, oh, I'm a type 2 because...
Mostly just as I read it, I felt like it just felt calm and felt like the way I am. And I felt like I'm more like a 2 than the others. But I can't tell you any certain thing right now.
Okay, all right. How's that felt to you, though? I mean, you're here, obviously. We don't force anyone to come do this, so you must not be 100% confident in that.
No, I don't, because I feel like my body type's a 3, very much a 3.
Okay. So if based on what I've taught, that the body profiling are one of the most accurate indicators of someone's type, if you have seen that in yourself, why have you not assessed yourself as a type 3?
Because as I read the 3, it feels like of all the types, the very least feels very, very uncomfortable to me. I feel like I'm not at all a 3.
Why does it feel uncomfortable?
It feels like it would be too hard. I feel like just a lot of things about the 3 feels like I'm not. And even I couldn't do that. I don't know if I could. It sounds hard.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm here to tell you are a type 3.
Am I?
I think you knew that.
I'm afraid I thought you'd
See,
say
now,
that.
I love that you're volunteering today, because this is common when I see that women have not been willing to assess themselves. This is something I have heard a lot from type 3 women. I see it in my physical features and in the body profiling, but I don't want to, I'll say it this way, I don't want to see it in myself and who I am.
Exactly.
And there's a resistance to it. So the reason you're not wanting to own it, I believe you really sensed you're a type 3. It started to bring some uncomfortable feelings up.
That's true.
And you've been conditioned from a very early age. And when I talk early age, I'm talking very, very early in life. When you witness type 3 children at the earliest of ages, at age 2, age 3, age 4, rambunctious is a word that really fits their movement. They're rambunctious and substantial. The movement is bigger than life in a way. It's bigger than them. And your nature is to physically connect with this world. So when you start to move in the world at age 2 and age 3, you start to physically get your hands on the world. You're into things. So what's the most common thing a type 3 toddler is probably going to be told?
To calm down.
Calm down, be quiet, shush, and no, stop it. You're too much. So in your effort to be obedient, you profiled yourself as a type 2, thinking, well, I'm supposed to be calm. Well, no, you're supposed to be balanced and you're supposed to be yourself, but there's some wounding there that happened early. And we're not blaming parents because they did the best they knew how in most cases. And parents that don't have this information tend to shame their type 3 children. So it's not like you were, beaten with a whip or anything. It's just you were told a lot, don't be yourself. Don't trust the self who you are. You are a type 3.
Okay.
You knew that, though. I know
Yeah, I
you
thought
knew
you'd say
that.
I was hoping you would know.
Yeah. You thought I'd say that. Let me verify that with pointing out your features. Okay. So I'm going to tell you to get fired up. Get louder.
Okay.
All right, so in your features, we're going to see, go ahead and look at the camera. I'm looking for angles, texture, deeper lines, and more asymmetry to the movement of your face. And if you wouldn't mind, hold your bangs up.
Okay.
And you have the classic type 3 scowl line. When you get really intent on something, you scowl your face. Go ahead and give me that type 3 look.
I don't know.
That, just that. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Little children do this. So we can see these actually make an inverted V right here. I'm looking for type 3s have a swift movement up from their brows, from the inner part of the brow line. It moves up swiftly, which creates kind of that dynamic eye and that exotic eye. We can see in your face shape, it cuts down here with your chin jutting out. We call that a chiseled jawline. If you'll turn, you can put your hand down. Turn to your profile, because I want them to see how that you have that protrusion in your chin. That's a chiseled jawline right there. Kind of just comes out a bit. Go ahead and face camera again. You have more substance to your nose. Type 3s, that's common in this front part right here, where our noses are just a little fleshier. We call it the lump of clay effect to our nose. And when you smile, you can see how deep your smile lines go right here, and they create V's around each side of your mouth. And then you do have a more textured quality to your skin. Go ahead and hold your hand up. Your hands, it's common. You don't have the classic type 3 hand with the wider knuckles, but you have the deeper knuckle lines, which you've had since you were born. You can see this in type 3 little babies, those deeper lines in the knuckles. How do you feel about this?
I don't know.
Well, you've only been complying. You profiled yourself based on who you were told you should be, not on who you are. And your facial features and body language. And I am confident if I were to like hang out with you for a day, I'd point it out to you right and left. I'd say, there's your type 3 there. There it is there. Yeah. And you're just conditioned to continually tell yourself you need to be calmer than you are. Okay, calm down, calm down. That you give yourself these constant reminders that you need to bring it down. And type 3s are, it's not like we're going around pushing everybody around and yelling and screaming, but we move swiftly, dynamically, with a quality of determination that I believe you do live. You just got to get rid of the inner talk that's countering it and saying you need to change yourself. That you are a beautiful, rich, dynamic woman who, dressing your truth, you're going to look hot. You've got to be okay with you're not used to that.
No, I'm not.
You think you have to be this sort of, just very, in the background woman. I'd say let them have it. Show up, because your gifts are, and I believe you do live true to your gifts. So why not match it with your style, so people then say, I love how you're so passionate about life, because you look like a passionate, dynamic woman. And then people
we can
support you. You will. You'll have an amazing experience. Can you see the type 3 in just some of your day-to-day tendencies?
Well, yeah, I have.
Give me some examples here.
I've got good, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Because I've had people helping me. Pointing out all the time that I think,
but
I have other things too. But things, I got a cool car that you can push the button and the doors open and close by themselves. But it drives me nuts, because if I want to close the door, I just want to close the door.
Yeah, and you just
I'd rather not wait for it to open and close, because it takes too long. It's frustrating.
Do you ever just
and so
close
apparently
it yourself?
That's a number 3.
Yes.
And my little sister-in-law says, well, all the noise you make in the kitchen. Well, that's just because things fall. It's not because...
Well, we move so swiftly, and everything we do, we have more of a push to it. So we do make more noise.
Apparently, I do.
We just do, and it's okay.
I like to think I don't, but I do.
You do, but again, there's no wrong in it. You're not trying to... You're just being yourself. You weren't trying to get into trouble or upset your parents. You were just being yourself, exploring this very interesting world. And the feedback that your parents gave you kind of pushed you to the side of, I've got to be a calmer person, which you then, in your effort to be that, you said, well, it feels a little safer to be a type 2.
Probably.
But it's not you. To help heal that inner child, to give permission to let that part of you be okay with being you, reading The Child Whisperer will be a real support to you. Welcome to the type 3 world.
Oh, well, thank you. I think.
I mean, you admire me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, come on. I hope to be a good role model for all type 3 women.
Okay. Good.
Okay?
Yeah,
It's a beautiful place to live from, to be yourself. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Well, I am loving how fabulous Ginger looks as her type 3 hotness. I know, you're not used to me calling hot. You're hot, Ginger.
Scary word.
I know, you're like, oh, really? Now, in retrospect, that you've looked back, because you've been living with this reference being a type 3 energy, what do you think influenced you mistyping yourself?
I think that there was a lot of type 3 things that I don't have in my personality that I wish that I had, such as stating my opinion, standing up for myself. I'm pretty codependent and I let people walk on me a lot.
Okay.
And so it's surprising that, to me, a 3 wouldn't do that.
Okay, now a wounded 3 would. Someone that was taught early on, if you are determined or challenge anything, you get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that can happen very, very early, even age 2. Type 3 toddlers are bigger than life. I always say they have to grow into their energy. Rambunctious is a very appropriate word for a small type 3 child. And if you have a highly stressed mother, you can learn or father, very, very early to stop being true to yourself. I did. I was very afraid of my father, and I shut it down. And you may have heard me tell that story where I've said, and I asked my mother what was I like as a child. She said, well, you were very responsible. You were very obedient. I said, well, Mom, I was wounded. I was scared. And I was. That was the honest truth. So consider the possibility you've tempered a lot of your type 3 energy.
And that makes sense. Because I was afraid of my mom.
Yeah. And so you just accommodated the people that you needed to and tempered yourself. But interestingly, Ginger, you said there are attributes that you would like.
Yeah.
Which, name a few. Because they are naturally you. It's just allowing it without feeling, associating it with that it's wrong or shameful.
And I guess that's what it is. I feel like it would be neat to be a leader type person, and maybe people see that. When I was in high school, I was elected to a leadership position, well, in a sport, and it seems strange.
Well, that would make sense too, in something that was very physically oriented, that you were athletic as a teenager.
And at the time, it seemed strange. No, what can I do? How can I be a leader? Because it didn't feel natural.
But it felt desirable.
I would maybe
notice that you have a desire to allow your own attributes to develop. So when you say to yourself, I would really like to be that way, maybe you could switch that to, those are natural attributes to me that I'd like to have more confidence in. Rather than it's not you.
And that's what it is,
you.
the confidence.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of making mistakes.
Well, that again was learned in your childhood. So what are you noticing now that you recognize that you are a type 3 energy? What do you see in yourself that validates that?
Well, the things that I see more are like I had people point out, and I can say, oh yeah, that's a 3. That it's fun to have pretty clothes that I like. And I learned to just get a type 3 apron when I'm at home because I wreck my stuff really easy because of the way I am.
You're swift. You move around quickly. And
so things get on my clothes. I don't know. And then I never get things done because I have a hard time getting going. But once I'm going, it gets done.
Okay.
I have a hard time getting going, though.
Well, that could be, again, with this sort of subconscious conditioning. You've got to temper yourself or hold yourself back. That's going to interfere with your natural go-for-it energy, that engagement energy that you have naturally. So you're still in process of feeling that, connecting your awareness with who you really are and giving permission to be yourself. it just doesn't flip a switch and suddenly you wake up the next day and say, wow, look at you
No,
go.
I'm different.
But you can have that awareness, and you get to notice day to day, where am I honoring and supporting myself, and where am I still thinking I have to change who I am.
Yeah.
And that's where the dressing, I think, is so valuable, because it's such an affirmation of who you are. You don't have to hide that. And I think you look great. Your hair looks fabulous.
Well, thank you. It's been so fun to mostly just know what I like.
Yeah. And you find you like a lot of the type 3.
Well, not at first.
Well, again, you were scared of it.
I was.
It was scary to you.
When after I talked to you, I walked out in the store and was choosing clothes and looking at them, and it took me an hour to even pick anything up to try on, because it was too ugly. I picked up a necklace, like anyone would really wear this, and I ended up, my sister-in-law bought it for me, and it's one of my favorite ones. I wear it all the time because I was surprised. It just seemed like ugly. It really was. And then I put it, hey, it looks better on me than it does on the hanger. I like it though.
Well, that's where I encourage you to keep in the Dressing Your Truth program and your experience, keep trying new things, because see, you associated your true movement with something shameful and something unacceptable. So that translated into the style of it.
That's true.
Where you were projecting it onto that.
Mm-hmm.
And now that that's starting to clear, and you're...
And it can be pretty.
Yeah.
It can be okay.
And it can look great on you.
Yeah.
You do look good.
And it's really exciting to have something that I like.
Yeah.
Lots of things that I like.
Yeah. And
I
had
can
you...
fold my clothes and say, wow, that's my favorite shirt. Oh, that's my favorite shirt. I have lots of favorites.
Good.
So that's fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with
Mm-hmm.
your fashion, and because I don't think we talked about this in your first segment. Have you considered yourself an attractive woman?
No.
Are you feeling that come alive in you, that you are an attractive woman?
I think
You're
so. I can say that. It's okay.
being you have
It's
to be
okay.
modest.
I can say that.
I don't want to say that because I need to be modest, No, I think it's our God-given right to say that I'm attractive. It's not in a superficial manner. It's in reverence and gratitude that I believe God made women beautiful, and it's an honor. It's really part of our own process of worship to say, I'm going to honor that beauty. I'm going to respect it in myself and love my beauty. And I'm grateful you're starting to get in touch with that. Because you're a very attractive woman.
Oh, thank you.
You look hot. I'm going to keep saying that just because it's
Just
like...
because you can tell I go, "Ew."
Yeah, I know. It makes you nervous still. You're
I'll
like...
just say pretty.
You're pretty too. You're a very pretty woman. So you look great. I'm glad that you were willing to have me support you. You're helping a lot of women, because unfortunately there's a lot of women that have been shamed and conditioned to believe they're someone they're not. And it's exciting to see you come alive. Get your pep back.
Thank you. That is exciting.
Get your go get it done energy going. I'm sure you get a lot done, and thanks for watching.